going to really help us all with. You can establish yourself as an expert by what you're talking about, and you can establish what your voice is. So, and your authority and your expertise on that subject. So, for example, if depending on your type of business, you would want to have a more playful voice for something, more funny, more serious, more academic, depending on what type of business you have. So it's important that you establish your voice. So the two famous questions: who are you talking to? So you're sitting down to write your blog post, and Mike's going to get into a lot more of the specifics of this. But who are you planning to talk to? You have to have that really clear. And then why are you talking to them? So about the who, you all know, you're all business owners, so you know that the niche is really important. Understanding your market niche is important. So in your market niche that you're talking to help you find topics now for your blog, you have to think about things like, what are their interests, their goals, their problems, pain points, hot buttons? What are the things that they're going to be interested in hearing about? Any questions? Everybody's so quiet. So even drilling down some more, it's helpful to know the age of your customers, where they're located, their gender, what kind of education they have, their job title. It's also helpful to know how often they're on the web, how much they use the internet, and what kind of environment and device are they using. Are they using their laptop or a mobile phone? And then, as I said before, the motivation is the big thing. So what is going to motivate them to read your blog? Well, to get into a little more detail on that, where they're using, when would they be reading your blog post, and how are they finding out about it? So if it's something that you do weekly, are they checking it Monday morning? When's the best time to let them know about it? And the important thing is that you just understand who your customer is. So what are they interested in talking about? Why they would read your blog, and why would they come back and read your next blog post? Part of that is your content, and you're developing your content ahead of time so that you know the types of topics that you talk about, and you need to know what you want to accomplish with that blog post. And so Mike's going to get into this a little more when he talks about how to find the keywords that are being searched right now so that you can align your blog post with a certain search term. So here's this slide just shows, what do you want to accomplish? Are you somebody that is educating and showing yourself as an expert? Are you just doing a sales blast and trying to get people to buy? Are you distinguishing yourself as something different so that you stand out in your customer's mind? Or are you just showing off? So this is that's just a slide I got from Sharif, actually, and he's funnier when he talks about it. So again, what would you like to accomplish? Are you establishing your credibility, your thought leadership? Are you're increasing your business, your traffic to your business website? Are you humanizing your company? And this is something that you're also doing on Facebook. When you have posts that you make from you as an individual, people like to do business with people. So yes, they're doing business with your business, but they like to know who they're doing business with. So here's one way that you can really do that with your blog post. You don't have to keep it about business. It could be about something that's tangential to it and that tells more about you. So perfect for that would be somebody like Barb, where because you're more of a life coach, that you could put stories in there of past clients or life experiences that relate to your business. And it tells more about how you would handle your consulting and your coaching. So to find the topics, you got to listen to your customer. You have to listen. You're listening in your social media, your conversations. You can do surveys, questions. You can collect facts and figures about your clients and what they'd be interested in. and you can postulate what common problems they have. Another way to figure out a topic is to go to Google Trends, and that's google.com/trends. And you can put in, we talked about this at our last class in detail, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but those of you that are new today, go to google.com/trends and put in the topics that you're thinking about writing about, and see how much they're searched and how they are searched with what other terms. So here I put in investments. I don't know if you can see that there. And I can see that over time, just putting in investments went down over time. So I can do some research on whether that would be a good topic and keyword for me to write my blog about, so that it's relevant right now, because you don't only want to find your existing customers, of course, you want to find new customers that are searching for you on Google, and they'll find your blog post. I think I have a better picture of that. Second. Okay. Can you see that well enough? Okay. So if you can put in investments, that's one of my clients right now. We're talking about investments. So I would start with just putting investments in, then I would qualify it. I put guaranteed investments, risk-free investments, life insurance annuities, the things he deals with, to see how people on the internet are talking about his type of product. Ready, Mike? The next thing we're going to do is go to Mike. What do you want me to put up here for you? Okay, no, I'm going to go to back to the slideshow. Okay. Mike's going to give you a lot more detail.
Exactly. I went from vacationing to some kind of a slave camp at my house, and I'm so glad to be here with you. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am. Anyway, I love doing this anyway, and this is a great topic. I really enjoy this one. We're going to talk about how to optimize your post, and again, this is not how to craft it, proper English, any of that kind of thing. That would be way outside of my area of expertise, as most of you have seen from my writing. So, what we're going to talk about is a little bit more of SEO, and more specifically, how to craft an article that somebody who's passionate about what you do can find your article, and then you work on the other side of it that we'll spend the last hour on, and that is how to craft a really great article. So how to optimize. I did it too. It is a single click. So how are people going to find you on Google, and how are people going to find you in social media? Did anybody read about the new algorithm change that that Google secretly rolled out in the last 30 days? Yeah, they just released it. It's a brand new one. I can't remember the name. What kind of animal is it this time? It was penguin. Now it's, I don't know, it's a bat or whatever it is. It's some kind of an animal usually. So here's what they did. If any of you were at our last class on keywords, we talked about long tail keywords. And that is, for like our business, it would be, how do I market my business online? So that, you don't want to think keyword. You really, now with this change, you want to think key phrase. What is somebody writing or saying on, and saying is the important piece, on Google to find what I do and who I am? What they really changed this algorithm for, they said this is the largest algorithm change since 1980 something. It's huge. It's a big change. And what it changes is so many people now hit that little symbol and they say what they want to search for. I want to compare an iPhone and an Android, so on and so forth. So they're speaking phrases into Google as a search. Very critical, because you have to think in terms of what is it, so somebody is passionate, for instance, Tina, about solar. I want to make my house completely sustainable. I want to do everything I can in my house to be sustainable. And once you begin to go down that road, you get pretty passionate about it, really excited about it. So you do things that I need, and therefore I want to find you. The dilemma is connecting the two dots over the massive billions of people involved on the internet. So Google is always trying to reward the consumer with the best provider of what you're looking for, period. So what this algorithm change does is it really hurts some big corporations that were using the old algorithm to serve themselves up before you, the small business owner, who had more expertise in a very specified field. So for us, how do I market myself online in Tucson becomes a really important phrase for us. I'm a small business owner. How do I market my small business online in Tucson? That is a question that people will type or say into a phone or an iPad or now speak into a desktop. You're getting more and more crafted for what people say versus what they write. Sometimes when we write into search, we'll just do a couple, 2 or 3 words. I try to do the keywords without all the connector words. But now, search is being changed where just write a sentence. And it's going to deliver to you, in most cases, it's going to bypass companies like Yext and Yelp and all of these companies who are kind of consortium companies who just list a bunch of companies. And it's going to try to deliver who's the best there is in this local market at that particular industry. So it's great for us as small business owners because it's going to reward us directly instead of 2 or 3 steps from another provider. Hopefully. Okay. So let's say that I was looking for, and it won't be exactly this, but let's use Mark and say that I was looking for a home in Tucson. And so normally when I would go search, it's going to deliver. What are some of the companies that provide search leads for? Yeah, there's a billion companies, right? Right. Those are 2 of the big dogs who typically, when you do home search in Tucson, those are going to be 1 and 2 always, every time. Now, I can't say that the algorithm is going to knock those guys off the top, but the intent is to deliver Mark, not those guys. Because he is an agent who literally is providing the service. So instead of providing Yellow Pages and all of those companies first, it says, who's the best plumber in Tucson? Well, all 6 of you said that Joe is the best plumber in Tucson. Therefore, Google wants to deliver his site first, so you get more what you're looking for versus 2 steps to get to what you're looking for. Does that make sense? It has to do, yes. So I don't want to go too far down the hole of that. That was in our last class, but that's called social signals. Likes and +1s and all of those things matter greatly in how you get delivered in search. Also, site reviews from Google first and then other companies matter greatly because they're trying to provide to you the best real estate agent or the best plumber in Tucson. And they base that on, what does the public say? What does the public say about consumers? And again, it's hard because people manipulate, but the algorithm is changing constantly to rule out fraudulent reviews and all of that kind of thing. So it delivers to the consumer in a single click what they're looking for. And we all want that, right? Okay. Ideally. Now, some of those big companies are still going to come up, especially those, I would say, like Angie's List, who do a good job of filtering quality reviews. Other companies, and I won't name any, I'm not sure about their reviews, and therefore Google agrees and says, yeah, I'm not going to, and so I will mention one. Yelp has been tremendously hurt by the last 2 algorithm changes because business owners are screaming that their reviews are not being seen. And so they have a different algorithm system that they apply that isn't what Google values, which is, you said that Mark was awesome at what he did because you guys worked together. Well, Google says that's an honest review. You guys did business together. So therefore, some companies are going to get hit heavy and others won't. But ideally, it delivers Mark right at the top of the list so that you get 3 or 4 agents instead of companies referring agents. Yes. No need. It automatically is written into the algorithm. They're trying to deliver to you the best that there is at whatever you're looking for. It's not perfect, but you're going to see some pretty substantial improvements. And a lot of it has to do with blogging. So let's continue on and talk about the components. Let's talk about components. Can you toss me my water, Dale? Thank you. Components of a blog. Why is the headline important? Anyone? Yes, not only on the blog, but when you publish to social media sites, they're going to see probably a graphic inside the blog post and the title and maybe a little subdescription. So if you can't entice them to go to the blog and read it, not a good headline. So enticing, engaging, inviting, all of those things, your headline is critical. You may have crafted the most brilliant article on what you do ever known to man. But if your title is not engaging, you and your mother are going to be reading it, okay? And maybe somebody else that you made read it. Nobody is going to go if that article, the title, doesn't say, please come read me. And, again, you're answering the question in many cases, what is the problem that that consumer has, and you're trying to answer. So say it in such a way that I go, oh, well, yeah, I got to know that. I'm going to go read it. So the article on Google's algorithm, I saw a teaser on that, and I was like, oh, I got to go read that. Immediately, they got me. They hooked me with, the world of search is changing. You got to read this kind of thing. It wasn't exactly that, but it was enticing enough to get me to read it, and I was like, whoa, this changes everything. So, the anatomy of a perfect, timeless, shareable post. People judge posts by its headline, catchy, if not, they may not click, I said, and high SEO value. Okay, so I want to clarify something. Again, I'm talking about the technical aspects. We're going to get to the expertise in a greatly crafted article. What I'm talking about is the technical side. Don't get stuck on technical and then write a really clunky, ugly article. Do you follow me there? It needs to be crafted well, but you want to have some aspects that are going to make it to where somebody can find it and read it. I'm going to just publish this online. These are 3 tools to help you, some thought starters and ideas to help you write headlines. I'll publish these on our group page and on our business page. Again, they're just tools that help you come up with ideas. Sometimes you get stuck, you need a little help. coming up with a great idea. And it's not going to tell you, it's just going to ask questions to get you thinking in terms of how to write a great title. So, to achieve the why, conclude with a call to action. So at the end of the article, now what? Okay? You've captured my attention, and I've read your article from beginning to end. You have me. I'm hooked. I'm ready to go. What do you want me to do on the website? Do you want me to opt into an email? Do you want me to share this article with other people? Yes. Do you want me, all of the above? Do you want me to go to a special offer that this article is going to answer the question to? I'm gonna give you a free PDF if you will opt into my email, or if you purchase this, I'm gonna give you this, etc. So at the end, and again, not every article, because it's not about selling, it's about presenting information that people want to know. But at the same time, you've gotten them to your website. What do you want them to do now that you have them on your website? Make sure that's available. Subscription, make it easy to participate. So, make it easy to share. There are a lot of sharing tools that, I didn't ask this. Did you ask WordPress versus Blogger versus, so who's on WordPress? Okay, because we're going to talk about that a lot. Who's on Blogger? Blogger, okay, Phil's Blogger as well. What else? There's lots of other blogging platforms. My preference is WordPress, self-hosted WordPress site, because then your blog is happening inside your website. You're building search every time you write an article, if it's crafted well and people are reading it and coming to the site for it. So you're adding value with those articles. But, again, there are other ways. There are other sites, Joomla, others that provide a great similar CMS content management system platform like WordPress. So these are all different sharing tools that you can utilize that will, at the end of the article, say, please share this article with everyone else because you think it's brilliant and everybody needs to know this. So push it to your Facebook, push it to your Twitter, push it to your LinkedIn. Provide those tools for people so that it is easy and natural to say, hey, this was great. And here's the other piece. Say that. Hey, if you think this article was great, use these tools, pop, to share with others. Because people need to be told what to do, and you're helping them think the thought of, hey, this was pretty brilliant. I'm going to share that with my friends. My friends would like to know this information. Or you may have a targeted audience that you may want to share it to on LinkedIn, on a LinkedIn group, or whatever that may be. But if you plant the thought, then there's a lot better chance, and statistically you greatly improve your chances of somebody sharing your tool. Any specific sharing tools that you guys use? Shareaholic? What's not popping? I'm trying to think right now. There's several other tools that they literally have built websites and platforms around share, and tools to share your articles and your blogs. Different tool. That's an auto-publishing tool, and then we'll get to that maybe towards the end. But this is just specifically, this pops up at the end of your blog, and it's got all the little social icons, and it says, please share me, please share me. Shareaholic is one that integrates with just about every kind of website that there is, and there are multiple others. Sure. Let's see. Nope, I'm going the wrong direction. That would be better. Headlines that shine. Okay. It's this guy. Yeah. Anatomy. Okay. And so these are the tools to write headlines. And I will share those links on our Facebook page. We'll share all of these for you. Yeah, we'll put them on the site for you. I apologize. We should have said. So call to action, sharing. Make it easy to subscribe. So, what is your overall strategy? Is your strategy such that you are going to have people at the end entice them to opt in? And I'll show you on our website. We're going to look at a blog here in a minute and how to optimize that blog. But you don't have to necessarily put it in the blog post. It can be on your sidebar. So you've got a great blog post, and over on your sidebar it says, give me your email for a free, whatever it is that you offer. So that's always setting just in the line of sight when people are reading your articles, so that you're enticing them to opt in and trade something for their email so that you can put them on constant contact. Yes, ma'am. You do get best results out of sidebar in most cases because it's on every page of your website. But purely because anywhere you land, you're going to see that opt-in option. But it is still viable to put it at the end of your blog post, if you're, or both. And my suggestion is for your website, always do A/B testing, meaning try it on the sidebar. If you're not getting the action you want, try it at the end, and then try both and see which gets you the best results in getting people to opt into your email list. Because still yet, there's nothing more powerful than you having somebody's email to contact them. Nothing in what we do in marketing is more powerful than the power of an email list. People convert more out of an email list. 50% more people buy things off an email list than they will from Facebook offers or Pinterest links, etc. Because you have an audience that is a controlled audience. You're going to be able to send something that's going to pop into their email box if you don't abuse it. And they're, in most cases, if they're interested in what you do, going to open it up. So it may be, for your business strategy, the way to get a controlled audience that won't go away if you write great content. So one of the strategies, for instance, that I use for a client is they write prolifically, constantly. And it takes a whole staff of editors to keep up with the grammar and everything else involved. But so for his newsletter goes out, and it'll be a great graphic and a really great teaser that then points back to the blog, and that's how he drives his traffic. People get that newsletter. He's built a massive newsletter list of 50,000 plus. They drive then to the blog, and all of this commenting and interaction and sharing then blows up from out of the blog. So he spent times, a couple, 3 to 5 years, building that email list, all with a sidebar opt-in. So granted, it depends on what you do for business and how big your audience is. This is international audience. But the power then of dropping that email into somebody's email box, it's got the great graphic and a first paragraph and a half, teasing them to come over and go ahead and read the rest of it. And then you have a really enticing offer at the end of the whole article that says, please buy my CD, or buy my MP3s, or sign up for, whatever that may be for you. You can really do a great deal of conversion, getting people to come and buy or sign up or do what you want them to do if you think through that process. And I think email is one of the more powerful ways to do that. And we do classes exclusively on email from time to time. Yes, Susan? You can play with that. I do mirror image. So Michael Hyatt, for instance, does that same strategy. Michael Hyatt will write a blog post, and he's an expert in all the things that we're talking about here. He'll write a blog post, and then he'll take the graphic, the title, and a little teaser snippet that's just typically the first paragraph and a half, and then it says read more, and that goes out in a newsletter. And when you click the read more, it literally pops up and it looks like it's the same screen. It's an absolute mirror image of what the newsletter and the blog post. You can, again, play with that, change it up, but if you have a substantial email list like he does, then it's a very powerful tool to get more eyes on your blog post, which hopefully at the end of it is converting people into subscriptions to your blog or subscriptions to your email list or opt-in to whatever you're selling today. Make sense? Michael Hyatt, for instance, if you guys haven't, check his site out. He's a prolific writer. He came from the publishing industry, and so now he has Platform University and a few other things. MichaelHyatt.com. I'm not trying to sell him. Don't get me wrong. He just does this really well. So what he'll do is craft a blog post, and nice image, great article, and then he'll take that and he'll take basically the top third of it and publish it to his email list with the tag to read more. Yes. Mirror image. Yes. 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 Could be. And it depends. So Michael Hyatt, he doesn't do one like ours that has 4 or 5 articles. He does a singular article that says, come read more. Ours has 5 articles that says, come read more. Go watch this video, so that we're hopefully hitting a broader audience. But again, neither one is right. They're just different in your target audience. Yes. I would say audience. Our audience is pretty diverse. We go from single owner, operator, they are the business, to team. And the approach would be different based on what the audience looks like, how diverse the audience is. So our audience being so diverse, we want to make sure we offer 4 or 5 things that might entice them versus the one. Right. So age group also is a big factor of that. 35 and under, they'd rather watch a video than read. 35 and above would rather read than, and again, these are generalizations, but percentage-wise, this is true. So we want to serve up both. Absolutely. Does that make sense? Okay. So the SEO. Search engine optimization. If you're not familiar with SEO, we do classes often, once a quarter or so, with specifically talking about keywords or SEO. So, insert, here are several places that you need to, what do you do with a keyword, where to put it, needs to be in the title, needs to be in the meta description. It needs to be inserted in the meta description of the photo, subheadings H2, and use it in the content naturally. Now, I said all of this, and then I said this, because if you become too mechanical at this, you can create articles that nobody wants to read. As Simon, who was presenting keywords, had a really funny example. I don't remember what what it was, but it was like plumbing in Tucson. Come hear about plumbing in Tucson. We want to talk about this kind of plumbing and that kind of plumbing in Tucson, this plumbing. And it was it was an SEO company. It was SEO, and it did SEO and SEO and SEO, and it was just ludicrous. Nobody wants to read that article, and that's not what I'm saying to do here. I'm saying listen to the second half of our class today, and then thoughtfully craft it in such a way that somebody can find this brilliantly written article. Okay? You're not going to get stuck on one or the other. You're going to blend them together for a really perfect blog post. Yes, ma'am? Yes, mostly. Title, again, top 9 steps to use social media to grow your business. That's not exciting to me, but something similar to that. I'm just showing you where you would put it in an article. Also, when you write this, it's creating the link. If you haven't adjusted your permalink on your website, if you haven't made it custom, then it's going to deliver the article title into the URL. So it's onlinebusinessmarts.com / that is the name of that page of the website now. So it's very important that if I'm optimizing for keywords, that I'm optimizing for what are my 4 to 5 keywords for my website, and I'm writing articles with that in the title. Now, different, mix it up, creative, enticing, engaging, all of those things, but something to do with social media or online marketing, or doesn't mean that's all we're going to write about. But when we're specifically building SEO, we're going to make sure we optimize the title first. So, simple guide to SEO. They're important, but right for people, not for search engines. Okay? You want to make sure that it's readable and somebody wants to consume it and somebody wants to read it. Mix in some video for your video watchers. I would suggest to have written and video, and sometimes even do the transcription from the video that you include, so somebody can watch it, somebody else can read it, their choice. Write great post titles, provide quality content with related keywords, include relevant and helpful tips. So, this is a tool. It's just a article template that we created, and I didn't put any words on it just so that you could see that it's where to put keywords. And you'll notice that it's keyword phrase. It's in the title. It's in a subheading H2. It's in the first paragraph. It's actually in the alt, and I'm going to show you all this behind the scenes. It's in the alt description of the image. It's in another subheading. It's in the body, and it's in the last paragraph. Now, if you've got a well-crafted article, that's not too much. You don't want to stuff. Stuffing is bad. Stuffing will get your page ignored by Google because the algorithm recognizes keyword stuffing. But in reality, if you think in terms of a well-crafted article, you want to mention what you're talking about in the first paragraph. You want to mention it again in the last paragraph. In your closing, probably want to mention it in your title. So these aren't far-fetched. These are things that probably you normally do when you craft an article. You just want to be a little bit more specific about how you go about it to help the search results for your article. Now, if you're using WordPress, I'm going to show you how we utilize Yoast for WordPress and SEO, because basically it's like somebody holding your hand and walking you through the process while you do it. It literally is going to give us a punch list of what to fix and how to fix it, and I'll show you that. So Yoast does two things. It optimizes your website for search, and it optimizes your blog post per search. So I'm going to jump back and go to our website now. Give me just a second. I will. Okay, we'll get logged in and I'll let you guys see underneath. We'll go to our dashboard. And again, if you're not on WordPress, it's going to be similar for you, but this tool really is an almost no-brainer when it comes to crafting a keyworded article. Let's see, how to deliver a wow experience for your client. So Dale has been working, she just put some beginning thoughts on an article yet to be published. So you guys get to see it before anybody else does. It's not completed, it's just rough draft at this point. And I've tweaked it a little bit and she may change it back, but I'm specifically doing it for a keyword example. So, how to deliver a wow experience for your clients. All of us want to do that in business, right? We want to create a, wow, that was great, I can't believe how good that was kind of experience every time we do business with somebody. So this is an article that says how to do that. And if you'll notice, then we come into the article, it has some kind of image that represents the article itself that connects to that. I found this one on Google and it was a free of use image that I could utilize. And then I dropped in and I actually haven't made a subhead of that yet. So if you notice, once you've installed the plugin Yoast into WordPress, right over here it says SEO, then it says check, and that's a link. So I'm going to go over and click that link and look what it does for us after I hide a few things. I may have to use a different give me 2 seconds, browser. Chrome, jump to Internet Explorer. Browsers will greatly affect this tool. I was in Chrome, and it usually isn't fine in Chrome. They may not have updated to a current version here. So I'm going to see, cross my fingers, and hit check. And, oh, I know what I'm doing and why. Okay. Okay, it's not giving me any analysis for this yet because I haven't added what my focus keyword is for this article. So, Mike has to come in here in WordPress by SEO for Yoast, and you have to start with putting in what is your focus keyword. And just for simplicity, I'm going to put wow experience, okay? And so this is telling me as I type this in, as you begin to type, it's telling me here are some commonly used search terms that are viable for what you're saying. So basically it's pulling from Google in searched phrases that are viable for what you're talking about. And I'm going to stick with wow experience. And I'm just going to scroll up here and I'm going to save the draft. And just in doing that, so I've taken a piece from my title that I really crafting the article around, and I brought it down into my keywords. I'm already in the green, so this goes yellow, red, yellow, green. I'm already in the green. So it's saying even if I don't do anything else, it's already a pretty good article. It's already pretty well crafted. Way to go, Dale. So, but now we can hit check, and look what it says. It gives you a literal punch list of what to fix. Yes. Sure. You bet. I think the back set, if you can hit that. There you go. Yes, I should have said that. Yoast is a free plugin for WordPress that you just install, and it'll automatically be available to do all of this for you. The website portion of it is a little more robust in optimizing your website. Yes. You can. I won't go through WordPress plugin installation, but it's relatively easy. You can, from within the website, go to plugins, search Yoast, it'll pull it up, and you click a button and say install this. And then you turn it on and it's there. There are more difficult ones, but that one's really easy. Simple to it. Once you've done it from inside the website and you get used to it, 99% of WordPress plugins can be installed from within the website, and they work great. Yes. Okay. So it's giving a bullet list of what to do and how to fix it. So it tells me there's no outbound links. So an important part of article writing is, let's say that I'm writing on SEO. Well, I may want to quote Matt Cutts from Google or somebody else, SEO Moz, who is an expert in the industry, and I may want to utilize a quote from one of them or point to another article that's very important about that topic. So there's value in outbound links from your article for SEO. The page certainly could be. But again, keep in mind, the larger the website that you link to, the more value that blog post will have. And more importantly, if you can get them to link back, huge. If they get people to write articles about you, really big, because then you're getting all of the kudos for the original article writing. So anyway, you can see there's multiple other, but 90% of what we got, I'm not going to do the math there, that's not a correct percentage, but we've got most of it already in the green. I have no red, which, way to go, Dale. I don't think I've done one in forever that has no red. I tweaked it a little bit before I came in, but it's got 90% of what you need for a good article because it's already given me a green light. So you come here, you fix what it says to fix. So for instance, one of them says no subheading tags. Quick, easy way to do that is this is a subheading. I come right here and I click on H2. Now I've created a subheading within, and it recognizes it in the HTML code as a subheading, and now it's highlighted basically as a subheading in the article with the keyword in it. So now it will have rectified that question about subheading, and it's not all the way updated yet. So I've got 2 minutes to cover publishing. What do you do once you've crafted an article? Hope somebody comes to read it. Hopefully that's where you've built your massive amount of following on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and where your target audience spends their time. So our target audience, mine and Dale's, spends most of their time still on Facebook, but our targeted audience, narrow target audience, is on LinkedIn. So we have to make sure that all of our articles are going out to Facebook, they're going out to Twitter, and they're going out through LinkedIn, and others. Google Plus is critically important. I kind of leave it as its own island over here. Everything you ever publish should go to Google Plus because it's literally searchable, SEO searchable back to your site. So you should be putting the image and a more robust snippet of the article on every one of your articles out to Google Plus. Highly, highly, highly searchable. The other thing on Google, look up authorship. Very important to have done that on your website so that when you publish an article, not only, let me show you the snippet. So when you search on Google, it provides this lovely little snippet right down here. Kind of hard to see. Let me scroll it up a touch. But if you provided the connectivity of your Google Plus profile to this website, it'll also have your smiling little face right there. And people will click and read those substantially more often than they will articles without a human face connected to it. Because they automatically say, well, that's a person, not a business. That's who I want to hear from. Google authorship. So if you look it up on Google, Google authorship, each of your websites has a different way to do that. If you're on WordPress, there are 3 to 5 plugins. If you install the plugin, it's literally as easy as log into your profile on the WordPress and drop that link into your profile, and you're done. It's so each of you have a profile. Yeah. I'll do a how-to video online, how to do authorship, but you log into your profile on your WordPress, and it has a little blank there that says Google plus URL, and you drop that in there, and then you've authorized yourself as the author of that blog post. Anything you craft. Thanks, guys. Awesome time. I know we blazed through that, and I'll put these links and videos, etc., out on our Facebook page, Online Bismarcks, and let's see, it's on just Online Bismarcks on our Facebook page. Catch me after if you have questions.
Ready here? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Take a look at your handouts here. I think everyone's got one. Does anyone not have one? We're good? Okay. Now, suppose you're sitting down at your computer first thing Monday morning or tomorrow, whenever, and you know you have to write that blog post. Nothing is coming to mind. It's a blank screen, like an artist with a blank canvas. What do? Well, here's what I want for you. I want you to speed up the time it takes to actually put together that blog post. And we're going to use a simple planning process. I've called it here, set your objectives. And guess what? You guys did a great job setting this up for me because you talked in detail about the who and other factors. So take a look at this list here, and you'll see who, what, why, when, where, and how. And my suggestion is before you write word 1, you fill out this outline and get in your brain where you want that blog post to go. Once you sit down and actually write it, it will go much faster and you're less likely to forget something. So let's go over these briefly here. What is the who? Who is your target audience? Who will read this? What do you know about them already? Remember the list that we had up here? All of those factors are important. Who will be affected? And what is the pain that they're feeling? What is the pain? The
Second part is the what. The message or takeaway, including a call to action if there is one. And probably 9 times out of 10 there will be one, right? Even if it's just please share your comment or sign up for this report. Whatever, your call to action. What do you want the reader to do, think, believe, or remember as a result of reading your blog? Attend a meeting, consider a different point of view, refund my money, call this phone number, whatever it happens to be. Cement that in your brain in the what part. What do you want your reader to do? And why? What is the purpose and benefit to the reader? I actually did this exercise last week, and one of the people responded about the benefit to herself in writing a particular letter. And I said, no. You got to think the other direction. What is the benefit to the reader of reading your piece, doing the action you're suggesting? And then if there's some logistics involved, don't forget to put those down. Is it a meeting you're supposed to attend, October 4th, 3 p.m. Congress, downtown Tucson? I don't know about you, but sometimes I get flyers or whatever. People just forget to put that in. Duh. So by planning it ahead of time, before you write the first word, this can be helpful. And maybe the most important part is the how part, the style, the tone. How are you coming across in that blog post? Demanding, firm, excited, laid back, urgent? Wow. Maybe what is the tone? So we're going to take a few moments here and now. Think about hypothetical blog post or a real one that you're working on. And go through this planning process right now. Go through it right now. We'll take a few minutes to do that. Any questions? Okay. The secret in making this work for you is lots of detail. Lots of detail. So put down as much detail right now as you can. If you write to make a difference in the world, not enough detail. The ideas are hopping and popping. I can hear them. Great. Yes. Like 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Okay. A gentleman who took my workshop shared with me last week that he used this when he had to write 3 different flyers about a charity event because he had 3 different target audiences. How cool is that? This helped him focus and send a different message to each of the target audiences. Now, who's willing to share what you wrote? Yes, Susan. to the benefit statements, why do they care if it matches? Okay. And when it matches, how do they feel? There you go. So get some of that emotion in there as well. And I would assume that your who is in Tucson. Is that correct? So you might put that in there. Again, the more specific, the better. Who else is willing to share? Who else would share? Okay. Great, great. So what's in it for them is they can be the smarty to their clients and they can expand their client base. Right. And I assume you'll get a little bit more specific with logistics, with where it's important to know that. Okay, okay. Awesome. Now, let's pretend that you've actually written this article. What do you do when you're reviewing it? In addition to the SEO Mike talked about, with all the keywords and key phrases, you also want to make sure that the 5 W's in the how are in there. And so go back yourself and do your own checklist, but then live dangerously and have at least 2 other people read that blog. Ideally, people in your target audience, and have them tell you back the who, what, when, where, why, and especially the how. How does it come across? How do they hear you? If they're able to tell you all the things that you planned accurately, bingo, you've made a successful blog post. But guess what? If they're a little shaky on a piece or two, that's where you go back and you fix it and you strengthen it. The logistics part may be weak, the benefit part may be weak. Go back and make it stronger. Make it stronger. So live dangerously and get some feedback. Ready to move on? The writing technique number 2, as you write more effective blogs, what can you do specifically? Well, I need your participation on this one. You want to write what kind of a first sentence? For example, a bold statement, a question, a contentious point, a callback. What am I looking for here? What's C word? Catchy's good. What else? Compelling's good. Crafty's good. Clear, concise. Emotional punch. Yeah. How do you say that with a C? I'm not sure, but all of the above is good. Particularly compelling. We're looking for something that's compelling. Especially, as Mike said, that first maybe paragraph and a half gets them to read it and then click over. So if that's not compelling, guess what? They'll never click over. I like that near thing. That's good. Next, you want body text that is easy to scan or skim. Either word. Either word. That means avoid the long words, long sentences, long paragraphs. You want to avoid big, what's the B word there? Big blocks, big blocks of text. People do not read on screen word by word. They just don't. They skim through it. They see what pops out. So you want to make it easy to scan. For long, high-stakes blog posts, the ones that are real important, and I'm sure everyone is, or you wouldn't put effort into it, what do you want to do? You want to, what's the P word here? You want to print it out. You want to review it, revise carefully. I don't know about you, but I just find it makes a world of difference. I cannot see all the mistakes on screen. So when I print it out, go into another room, put my feet up maybe, a cup of coffee, I'm looking at it fresh. I not only see more mistakes or problems, I see more opportunities. And I see how well it connects or doesn't connect. So it's like being able to read it fresh. Take time to print it out if you possibly can. Now, we talked a little bit about headlines. In fact, we talked a lot about headlines. And I recently came across a resource that I thought was excellent. This marketing person understands how the brain works. And so what he suggests is, what I put here is based on his suggestions. But let's turn it into a quiz. Would you think he would recommend question-based or statement-based headlines? Don't struggle to pay your tax bills versus are you struggling to pay your tax bills? Which seems more compelling? The second, right? And the reason is that the brain is wired to answer questions. The sight of a question mark, I don't know, there's some salivating that goes on. I don't know what it is, but you got to answer that question, right? So given the option between a statement and a question, use a question. The second one, problem-based or solution-based headlines. For example, is your computer's lack of speed driving you crazy versus boost your computer's speed today? Which do you think you would recommend? Actually not. Yes. He would definitely recommend the problem-based. It brings to the forefront the pain, as you said, that drives you crazy. There's the pain there, and doesn't go directly to a solution. I think identifying the pain is stronger. And then the third one, curious or non-curious headlines. Are your headlines missing these precise triggers? This is not even a big choice, right? We want them to be curious. And in this example, the word these add to the curiosity factor. The brain wants to know which ones. You said these, but which ones are these? I want to know. The brain is asking for that. Numbers help too. Are your headlines missing these 3 precise triggers? Well, yeah, maybe I can guess 1 or 2, but what's the third? There's a bit of a game going on. So here are just a few tips, very specific tips to make your headlines stronger. Now, based on the planning that you just did, anybody willing to volunteer a headline? Can you volunteer a headline that might have at least 2 of those components in there? Susan, any thoughts? Yeah, it takes time, and you know, they all say test your headlines. Try 1, 2, 3 different kinds and test them out. So they're not easy to come up with, right? Would you agree? Yeah. Let's move on. Writing technique number 3 I call whack wordiness. Whacking wordiness means taking out words that muddy the writing in your letters, emails, reports, and blog posts, of course. So I'm going to say these out loud as you follow along in print because I think it's helpful to hear these as well as see them. These are triggers for phrases that I consider extraneous, and 9 times out of 10 you can knock them out of your writing. This will make your writing stronger. There is and there will be. For example, there will be many residents who are planning to move. Better, many residents will plan to move. The second one, it's all about. The fact of the matter is, the fact that. For example, the fact of the matter is that it's unwise to go out carousing. Better, it's unwise to go out carousing. See what we've done? Much more direct. Next, in regards to. There may be additional websites you should seek out in regards to your industry. Better, seek additional websites in your industry. There, we knocked out 2 extraneous phrases on that one. 2 for 1. How about is going to? He is going to be a key asset. Better, he will be a key asset. Now, if somebody gave me a nickel for every time I changed is going to in a written piece, oh my gosh, I would be very wealthy. It's a common thing in the written word, and it's totally fine, in the spoken word, and totally fine in the spoken word, but in the written word, it's just kind of loose and unnecessary. It's going to, unless it's in dialogue, 9 times out of 10, you just don't need it. You can be sharper and more precise. How about in order to? Add keywords in order to describe the new position. Better? Keywords, add keywords to describe the new position. In order to, we don't need it there. How about is intended to, is meant to, is designed to? Pre-screening is intended to focus on key aspects of the position. Better? Pre-screening focuses on key aspects of the position. You see what we've done here? We've actually turned it into an active verb, and it makes the sentence stronger. And here's my all-time favorite. The reason why is that, when a simple because will suffice. So what have we done? We've taken 5 words and turned them into 1 word. It's just more efficient. And guess what? If there's too many loose words like this, it's hard work for your reader. You want to streamline your writing so it's easier on, I don't know about you, but if you have to work really hard, you're not going to give it much time. So these kinds of things do streamline your writing. Added to that are what I call wobbly words. Really? I really think it's time to go? Do you really need it? I don't think so. It's time to go. We rely on some long-standing methods. Some is such a wobbly word. You can make it better. You can say 5 long-standing methods or just long-standing methods, but some does not add anything here. Much. Jobs posted on the internet reach a much larger audience than those in newspaper ads. Again, much doesn't have much value in this statement, I don't think. Very, the most overused word in the English language, in my opinion. Get ready to do a very good job. I would say get ready to do, an extremely good job, perhaps. Now, Stephen Covey wrote a book, and it wasn't called The 7 Habits of Very Effective People. It was called Highly Effective People. So don't be lazy. If you're going for the word very, challenge yourself and come up with a sharper word, a more precise word. Find information that you can apply easily. Find information you can apply easily. And let me just say that when it comes to talking about a human being, we want to use the word who rather than the word that. The girl that plays the piano should be the girl who plays the piano. This is a mistake we hear everywhere, right? Everywhere. Broadcasters, all of us, in fact, we get trapped up in that. But let's not dehumanize human beings. Let's say who when we really mean who. Okay, on track? Any questions so far? In my larger workshop, we actually do an exercise where there's a very poorly written blog post, and people circle the wobbly words and extraneous phrases. And it's, it gets across the idea of how tedious it can be when we put in all these extra words. So, top technique number 4, ignite your verbs. You want to ignite your sentences with active verbs such as define, design, overcome, stretch, unleash, all of the ones you see on your page, all of the ones in the dictionary. We want active verbs as much as we can because it sharpens your writing. Now, if we're going to use active verbs, we have to understand what active construction is for your sentences versus passive construction. An example of passive construction is there on your page. Employees are seen by their managers as receptive and flexible. The active version of that would be managers see employees as receptive and flexible. See the difference? See what we've done? We've kind of flipped the sentence. Here's another example. Passive. The juicy watermelon was eaten by the boy. Active. The boy chomped into the watermelon's red belly. So we have someone doing something to someone else instead of the other way around. That's what active construction is. Now you'll see there's a couple of clues that can help you identify when it is passive construction. What are those two clues? Yep, the verb to be. If you see a version of the verb to be, chances are it's built in passive construction. What else? What else? Not really. Not really. The tense isn't a factor. But what I'm looking for here is the word by. The watermelon was eaten by the boy. Employees are seen by their managers. See what I'm saying? So if you are writing a sentence and the word by is in there, chances are you've written it in a passive way, and you can flip it around and put the subject at the beginning, the managers at the beginning. See what I mean by this? Now, maybe you don't want to identify the managers. That's another story. However, I think you'll find that if you begin to pay attention to active construction, your sentences will be much smoother and stronger. So, let's have an experience of what that really means. It's easy enough to say, but what does that really mean? You'll see on your page 3 examples. And what I want you to do is take the passive wordy sentence and rewrite it so it's active. Now, there's no one right answer, but you're doing it correctly if you've got that active verb in there. So let me give you a few moments to do that. Oh, that's you. Invisible. Yeah, but I don't know if that'll help. Brand new. Now look at it. Just one faded. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, sure. From your handout, just type in more. And then can you actually from your handout? Okay. Yeah. Page 8. Yeah. Okay. Now, how are we doing? Someone's got all 3 done. Oh, stuck. Here we go. Who is willing to give your active voice answer for number 1? I kind of have to stay up here. Barbara. Did she nail it? Is that correct? Is that correct? Not quite. Not quite. Anyone else got an answer? Susan? Okay, what's our active verb? Implement. Okay. Any other suggestions here? Yeah. Yep. The active verb here is what? Streamline. Streamline. So in your case, you put the streamline in a clause and didn't carry that over into an active part of the sentence. So look for ways to find really the strongest verb in there and make it the focal point of the sentence. So Susan used implement and Marie used streamline. Is this making any sense? Is this helpful? How about number 2? Who's got rewrite for number 2? Linda. Improvement is evident in most cases. Did you get an active verb in this sentence? Not really. Not really. It is a passive verb. So, who's got an active verb? Who's willing to share? Yeah? Yeah? Of course. Yes. Most cases demonstrate improvement. The active verb is demonstrate. Cool. Cool. You know, it's a little deceptive, isn't it? It's not quite as easy as you might think. But challenge yourself when you find yourself writing these passive sentences. Challenge yourself to turn them around and make them stronger with that active verb. How about number 3? Who's ready? Who's got one for that? Sure? We've changed the procedure to reduce steps. Did he nail it? Is that correct? What do you think? What's the active verb? Changed. Yeah. He imposed a new subject, we, that works. Yeah. You got it? Okay, any other variations on this? The procedure reduces the necessary steps. And what is our active verb here? The only thing I would change would be keep it in the past tense. The original sentence is past tense, so if you kept it in past tense, then that would be better. So what are your thoughts on this? What did you learn from doing this? Was this helpful, this part? Yeah? Tell me how it was helpful. What did you discover that you didn't know? An active verb is more interesting. Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes we are limited by word count. So we have to kind of pay attention to how we can take some of those longer words and make them shorter. And using active verbs is definitely one way to do that. Okay, are you ready for number 5? Writing technique number 5 is called Pursue a Parallel Path. You don't want to let a mixed bag of speech get into your writing. And here's what I mean. His attitude makes a difference in changing, succeeding, and when he wants to move on. What just happened there? We threw in a non-parallel clause that kind of interrupted the rhythm and flow of that sentence, right? It was a little jarring, in fact. So to actually make that stronger, we would say, his attitude makes a difference in changing, succeeding, and moving on. Now we're walking on a parallel path. We're using the same part of speech 3 times. Changing, succeeding, and moving on. See what we're doing with this one? Here's an example that I think is pretty awkward. We created a new sales presentation. Client delivery is next, and we need feedback. Where'd your brain go? 3 different places, right? scattered. Now to put that on a parallel path, we would do something like, we created a new sales presentation, decided how to deliver it to our clients, and brainstormed ways to receive feedback. So we're using, again, the same part of speech 3 times. Active verbs, by the way. They're all active verbs. So watch out for that. And at the same time, we're tapping into the power of 3. Now, this society loves the power of 3. We see it around us everywhere. For example, in business, reduce, reuse, recycle. Buy it, sell it, love it. Grace, space, hate, the Jaguar. Websites all over the place, you'll often see the power of 3 there. In the music world, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. A little jarring, right? A little jarring. We threw in the 4th, and it kind of broke the pattern, broke the rhythm. Pardon me? That's why they split up. I bet. It just didn't sound right. From kindergarten, right from day 1, we're learning hop, skip, and jump. Stop, look, and listen. Can you come up with more examples? Hey, there you go. They don't say it 4 times. They don't say it twice. They say it 3 times. Yep. Stop, drop, and roll. That's a good one. That's a famous one. What else comes to mind? Ho, ho, ho. Eat, drink, and be merry? That doesn't quite fit, does it? Although it's so common, it feels like it fits. But I guess my challenge to you is to pay attention to those opportunities. So when you're writing your blog post, those kinds of things really do fit into a headline, into a compelling first paragraph, into an ending. Maybe each subhead can be 1, 2, and 3. There are ways to play with that, and it feels right. It feels like it's in rhythm. I know comedians play with that a lot. They take you out of rhythm for humorous effects, right? They might throw in a 4th or a 5th. But what we're looking for here is some kind of rhythm and cadence. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And any more of the power 3 that come to mind? Yes? Red, white, and blue. New sports weather. Yeah? Oh, ho, ho. There you go. There you go. Okay. So let's move on to number 6. Word trippers. Match the word to the meaning. Do you ever write further when you mean farther? Or accept when you mean accept? It happens. We get these words mixed up all the time in the English language, particularly in the written word, more so than the spoken word, I think. So, as Dale said earlier, I've been on a crusade for a lot of years, bringing awareness to these words that are confusing. And in fact, I've actually put together 365 of these pesky pairings in this Word Trippers book. So this is just a quick reference on the most common ones that we come across. Now, on your page are actually the ones I picked out of this book that are more common than most. And your assignment right now, your challenge right now, is to read through these and pick one. Pick one, and then you're going to write an example sentence. Now, each of these has a definition and an example sentence. Do not copy the sentence that is there. Make up your own example sentence and make it in a way that it shows the distinction in meaning between the two so that you won't pick the wrong word next time. Let's take a few moments to do that. finished one, do a second one just for fun. Give this another 30 seconds, and then we'll hear what you have to say about it. I am so eager to hear what you've written. Not anxious, but eager. Very eager. Okay. Who's willing to share their sentence? Yes. There you go. And the second one has one O, right? Okay, and the common mistake here, when people say lose, they put in that second O. No, you don't want to do that. So loose and lose. And your second one? Did she nail it? I think so. Correct. Correct. If somebody is taking action, they've been persuaded to take action. If I'm convincing you to my point of view, but you never take action, I never succeed at persuading you. Yeah. Okay? Who else is willing to share? Yes, sir. Disagreement between buyer and seller was okay, and where's the other part of it? Excellent. Now, did he nail it? So the tricky part here is that often people use between when they mean more than one, more than two. Between is reserved for only two, comparing two. And among, if it's three or more, then that's the word to use. You probably heard that incorrectly a lot. I sure do. Yes, please. Did you nail it? And you spell the first one? And the second one? Good, good, good. Good, good, good. I never want to see two O's again when you mean lose. Dale, do you have one for us? Well, when I have a lot of friends, sometimes I find myself. Okay. Good, good, good. Okay, now let's expand that a little bit. Why would they even be anxious or worried? Can we build that into the sentence? Can you give us a hint why there might be anxiety there? Sounded anxious because she was worried about an exam or something. Yeah. Give us a little bit more so we understand why there's a reason to be anxious there. Mark. Yeah. They rain on my parade. Well, my fun. I'd be anxious about that too. Yeah. Well, let's take one more. Susan. you get that right? Excellent. Now, some lucky person in this room is going to take home the book that's in my hand. How do I know who that person is? Who has got a birthday coming up either end of September or early October? Who's got a birthday? Who's the next birthday? There's no October birthdays in this room? Hey, hey, hey. We have a winner. As we say on the tennis court, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, let's move on to writing technique number 7, punctuate and proofread with fresh eyes. Now let me draw your attention to the photograph on the page and the headline. Rachel Ray finds inspiration in cooking her family and her dog. What's the problem and what's the fix? Tasty. I love it. The easiest solution, well, Marie, tell us, what's the easiest solution here to fix this sentence? Comma where? So, Rachel Ray finds inspiration in cooking, comma, her family, comma, and her dog. Cool. Now, the second comma is optional. People often ask me, when do you need that second comma? And really, it depends on the style of the publication that you're writing for, or if it's your own blog, your own publication, whatever style you set for yourself. You'll find that newspapers and magazines tend to skip that second comma. But in book publishing, it's really a requirement. And definitely my preference is to put in that second comma because it can add confusion. So it's what we call a serial comma. So make a choice for yourself if you want to use the serial comma system and stick with it. Just make your own style. Yeah, Barb. Mm-hmm. The over comma? About comma. And, you know, you make a good point because there are lots of different style guides. So you kind of have to know who you're writing for. If your blog was full of a lot of academic folks, maybe you would want to continue to use that APA style. So make a choice. But whatever you do, be consistent with it. Now, I see some people have jumped ahead, and you're reading the 2 blurbs on here. And I just want you to, my point here is that punctuation does matter. Punctuation does matter. Let me give you just a moment or two to read number 1 and number 2. Any comments? Any comments after having read that? Yeah. And it's hilarious the mistakes that do get through because people are not paying attention. So in your blog post, you know, we're not doing the texting or twittering or the shortcut version. We're doing the full-on, full language version. So do pay attention to that. And I've actually created a 3-page punctuation guide. If you sign up over here, you'll get the punctuation guide in a PDF. And I'd love to give it to you because it's simple, straightforward, and a really easy guide to what kind of punctuation to use when. According to Barbara's style. Anyway, let's take a look at our punctuation exercise on page 8. Let's do that together. We actually have it up on the board, thanks to Dale being able to use technology better than me. Tell me what's wrong with sentence number 1. It doesn't need the parentheses. However, if we left the parentheses in, what's the problem with that? I don't think it needs a comma. At the last minute. Well, you could. But I'm looking for something else around punctuation. The period goes outside, not inside. And here's the rule of thumb. If this was a complete sentence inside with a subject and a verb, then the period goes in there and there'd be another one out here. But because it's a phrase, then the period goes outside the parentheses. How often do you see that mistake? Lots and lots. Lots and lots. How often do you make it? Yes. Now you know. Now you know. How about number 2? What are the punctuation problems with number 2? Let's start with, there's a few. Let's start with the first one. It should be what? It should be apostrophe because it means it is. Now, often the mistake is made the other way around, right? When it should be its, there's an apostrophe in it. I hate to tell you this, but that was in one of your slides today. Yes, exactly. So pay attention. If it means it is, you need that apostrophe. The apostrophe takes the place of the I in is. How about this semicolon? And why is that? Do you know the rule on that? Correct. If this was a full sentence and this was a full sentence, yeah, but in this case it's not. It's a phrase that modifies the sentence. So a comma is what we need here. What else? Correct. Your should be Y-O-U-R because it's a pronoun. In this case, it's a contraction. We don't want that. So how often do you see that mistake? All the time. And one more problem with this sentence. Marie, what's the problem? Correct. A lot of people don't know this, even big-time writers. It's so surprising to me. But if there's an adverb before whatever, if it's an ly adverb, you do not need the hyphen. That is a rule. If it's not ly, quite often we do use the hyphen. But if it's an ly adverb, you don't use the hyphen. Any questions on that? Yeah? Recently received, you would not hyphenate after recently because it's a adverb that ends in ly. If it was not an adverb ending in ly, then chances are you would. I tell you, the rules around that are a little crazy, when to hyphenate, when not. I have a whole page on my blog where the headline says one word or two, and it's just a lot of examples of when you use a hyphen and when you don't. When in doubt, look it up in the dictionary because it's there. When in doubt, change it all around so you know what's right. Yes, just receipts would be. Because those two words, you want to indicate they go together. That they go together. Yeah? Oh. Depends on the context if that makes more sense or not. But in this case, we're sticking with punctuation. Okay, number 3. What's the problem with number 3? Comma after however, just one of those conventions. How about this semicolon? Is that correct? Yeah, it's true. It should be a semicolon because we want it as a complete sentence, and that won't happen as a complete sentence. No, not in this case. Probably not. Right. The job of the semicolon is interesting. You can have 2 separate sentences with a period here, and that would be accurate. But we use the semicolon to show that there's some relationship between one sentence and the next. And they have to be kind of equally weighted. That's what the semicolon represents. Clear as mud? Does that make sense? And look at, we've got this underline, so we know that's a problem. What should we do with this? Apostrophe. Okay. The last one. When playing with a 5-year-old, have fun. How would you change that punctuation-wise? Yeah. Who needs 3 or 4 or 5? You just don't need them. 1 maybe, and only use that sparingly. You're not adding wow with exclamation marks, you're adding a bit of confusion. Use it with the sentence that has the most wow, is my belief. And then the word 5-year-old, what's the problem with that? Because it's in this sentence, it's in the place of a noun. Now, if we put 5-year-old boy, it would be in the place of an adjective. So when it's an adjective, you put in the hyphen. When it's used as a noun, you don't. So that's a pretty common mistake as well. So one last thing having to do with proofreading. And again, I need your participation here. Proofreading is kind of a given, but boy, we can get really lazy about that. Would you agree? Kind of happens. So what do we really mean when we say proofread something? Well, I would suggest you reread what you wrote at least 2 times, 3 times, 10 times. Yeah, I mean, I'll accept a minimum of 2 times. Have, how many other people proof it? 2. Not 1, but 2. Save it and print it out like we talked about. Reread only after you've let it sit for how long? I would say the bare minimum is 10 to 20. 2 to 3 isn't quite enough. You want to get up, move around, get a glass of water, come back, look at it, and see it with fresh eyes. I guarantee you'll find problems with it, even if you thought you wrote it perfectly the first time. So come back and look at it fresh. Read every sentence out loud. Is that ever helpful? Sometimes we end up using the same word very close together. Follow the instructions in the following guidelines. Well, we don't want follow close together. And sometimes we don't see it, but we hear it. So say it out loud. Consider the reader's viewpoint. What do they want or need? So you've got your writer's hat on. Now take it off and put your reader's hat on and see it from their perspective. Very helpful. I left a blank. Are there any others you can think of that are helpful to you that we should add? Yeah? Aha. And you find that works? I think it helps you catch the missing words that could be in the sentence, for sure. Any others? Any other clues? Well, I've come to the end of my 7 top tips. I hope that they're helpful to you. I hope you also keep that handout handy and use it often. It's a good review. If you sign up over here, you will get my newsletters and you will get that punctuation guide, which I think is extremely helpful. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.